throughout the realm of EDC, we've covered what's on your body, level 1. I've covered what's in a different type of nut ruck, whether it be the Bando bag, Bando XL, Fade Flex, anything on your body. Then we went up to the immediate area in the vehicle EDC level 1. I'm calling this vehicle EDC level 2, my truck side emergency kit. Okay, for a long time I had a kit like this in a big green box that you get from like Cabela's or something. I just graduated recently to throwing it all inside of this Eberly stock bag. Okay, this is one of their duffels. This is the bigger one, and I'm gonna put a link in the description to where you can buy one of these. It makes storing all this stuff way easier than a plastic tote. Let's check it out. Okay, going into starting on the side, I have this truck oriented in the back of my truck to where this component is more towards me in case I need to reach in and grab this side. So I have a fire extinguisher, and I have a couple first strike packs from the Marine Corps. These are super old, but I doubt they're ever gonna get old. So let's see what we got here. We got vanilla dairy shake, some beef strips, a first strike bar, got some combos. These are the caffeine gum, energy gum, mocha dessert bar. So if I need to stay alive, I have something. This one hasn't been ratted through, but going back to these things are awesome survival tools because it stays good for forever. And look, inside of one of these, look at all this stuff that's in here. Tons and tons and tons of calories, thousands of calories inside of this one thing. Inside of this one, I got an Algene with just a thing of emergency water in here. This is probably what I'm gonna use the most of. These are just a pair of Costco work gloves. I got little towels here. I was on a mission trip in Brazil and one of the ladies gave me these. Let's check them out. So this apparently is an entire towel. You activate it with just some water. I didn't use them the whole time in Brazil, and now I'm like, dang, that's like a full-on, like legit heavy-duty baby wipe, and how much it compressed like that. I think it'd make a cool fire starter too. All right, the front little pouch right now, I just got some black ice. Okay, moving into the main compartment. Okay, in the top right here, I just have a extra rain jacket, and then a tire plug kit. If you don't know how to plug a tire, you need to learn, get you one of these. I also have one in the door that's already open and that I've used a few times. It's just in a bag laying in there, but these things are really sharp if you have them just laying around. So make sure you have them secured. What you use this for is if you, say, get a nail stuck through your tire, all right? You need, if you have an air compressor, that's great, but you need something to keep that air in there once you can repair it. This is how you're gonna do that. Tire plug kit. A lot of different companies out there making like fancy ones. You don't need anything fancy, just something that'll put the plug in there. Jumper cables. Don't really need to say much about that. Got an emergency roadside vest. All right, this has become one of my favorite things just in general that I've had lately. This is a little air compressor. I got it at Costco. I think it was like 40 bucks or something. And it comes with this hose and all these different attachments. So I have a raft that I use on the river made by Flycraft, and it's what I take people on guided fishing trips with a lot of times. And I had the hand pump, which was taking forever to reinflate it. This thing is sweet. I'll just turn it on, set whatever PSI. And it just goes. And then I attach this to it, whether I'm gonna inflate or deflate it. And then it has all these different attachments. The one I have on it is what's working for my boat, but there's also a car valve one. I actually used it to reinflate my right rear tire just day before yesterday. So for 40 bucks, you can't beat this thing. And then you just charge it up with a USB-C. Okay, a tow strap kit. I had one of the cheap O'Reilly ones that I was carrying for a while, and it ripped when I was pulling out some trees on my property. So I just recently bought this new one, all right? So I actually just used it the other day. So I moved all this stuff I talked about from my plastic tote into this bag, and I used in one night like 4 or 5 of the items just 2 days ago. We were coming back from a church retreat and a buddy's car broke down, and I used jumper cables, I used a few of the other items I'm gonna cover, and I ended up hauling his car all the way back into town with this strap. So pretty self-explanatory, it's just a tow strap, but I use it frequently. And this is made by All Top 4x4 accessories. So I'll put a link in the description with this. All right, when you're in a roadside emergency, flares are really important. As a police officer working a lot of collisions and stuff, I see the importance of needing to have some sort of emergency signal, so that way you don't get rear-ended and deep trunked and die, okay? Police officers die by that all the time. And so having some sort of flare, I was rolling with these, just standard normal flares for a long time. As you can see, I haven't used them. And then I just bought these as well recently. And these are these electric ones. These are Okena, I think I'm saying that right, but they have a lot of different settings. I think something like this is gonna be the best, something that's gonna be flashy and attract a lot of attention. So my concern with these was battery life, also rigidity. These can take getting run over pretty well. I ran them over, played around with it, and these are really durable, and I'm actually on board with them after using them. So, and then you just hold it down to turn them off. So they are rechargeable, but they last for, I don't remember exactly how long, but they last for a very long time. And the case that I got, it carries 6 of them, which I think is a reasonable amount. If you get the one that carries 3, I don't know if it's really gonna be enough. All right, one of the other items that I ended up using, again, just the other day, was this portable jump pack. Okay, another item that I got at Costco, super cheap, and I jumped the guy's rig with my jumper cables, and then I turned around to tow him, and then his rig died again, and he couldn't put it in neutral. And so I was like, well, instead of me turning my whole vehicle around, I'll just throw the jump pack. So super easy. Literally all you do is you plug this sucker in the side, attach it to their battery, and then turn it on, and you jump it. Also, it has some settings, has a flashlight on the front. But yeah, his car, it was so dead that it wasn't getting anything with just his keys. And I put this on it and it fired right up immediately. Also, I hadn't even charged this. It was just out of the box from Costco. Also, it looks like it has this charger that you can do inside your vehicle, which is actually a really awesome consideration and contingency to have. Portable jump pack, one of the biggest things I recommend you carry in your rig. Okay, got an e-tool. I graduated from an issued Marine Corps e-tool, and I bought one that's made more by a overlanding company. This is Rhino USA. I am not very familiar with them, but this is a new one that I just got. Haven't used it yet. I don't know, seems like an e-tool. It will dig a hole if I'm running code brown and need to use it. Yeah, so I've heard that this company's good, but I haven't used this, so let me know in the comments if you have any experience with this company. This is brand new, never used it, but an e-tool is an e-tool. Down in here, I got a couple little kit bags. These are some of the Eberly stock, like accessory bags, just for organization. And a lot of this is just gonna be some random stuff that I have in here. So I got a roll of Gorilla Tape, got some pieces of fat wood. I talk about fat wood in one of my fire starter videos. I got a Sawyer water filter bag, thing of matches, case of AAAs, another Bic lighter, a barbecue lighter, some super old wet fire starters, some super glue, which might be leaking in my bag. You get the point. Just random stuff that I think might be useful, but it's not fancy stuff. It's just If I want to get a campfire going or something like that, or a survival situation, I have more redundancy right there. Okay, inside of this one, this is just straight ratchet straps. Again, Costco. Bought a whole pack of these heavy duty ratchet straps and they're super cheap. Costco's great for this kind of stuff. I got some bits. I got a crowbar. I got a extra bow line for my boat. And then in here, this bag contains what I would need to just make an emergency shelter if I so need. Here's an extra blanket. Also, it doubles as an air panel if I need to signal an aircraft as a civilian, whatever. I got some tent stakes. Also, I can use this as a windlass and use duct tape and make field expedient tourniquet. I have a whole spool of 550 cord and a whole bunch of contractor bags. I did a video on packing a ruck and doing ruck runs, and I talk about contractor bags in there. There's so many, these are a must-have for any operator or person that wants to be ready for a survival situation or whatever. Contractor bags are awesome. You can do so much with these. So just in this little pouch, I can make a full-on shelter, but really just basic things for camping or whatever. Just nice to have, not a necessity. A couple other items to keep in mind, say in the winter. Right now, obviously it's not winter where I'm at, but in the winter, some places they require chains. I got chains for my rig right here. I got a snow shovel. Again, Costco coming in clutch. Right here, snow shovel collapses. And then, of course, an ice scraper. This is one thing I ordered recently. I obviously haven't set it up yet, but a dash camera. I've seen even some situations where these will protect people, you know, having some footage, protect you legally in the event of a collision or whatever, people trying to claim insurance things against you or whatever. A consideration. I haven't set it up, but dash camera. Got it on Amazon, pretty cheap. And then right here, I have, it's essentially a Ranger roll for those of you in the military, like a poncho liner paired with a tarp, called a Ranger roll. This is essentially one from Costco. I just put it in this old tow strap bag, but I just got it from Costco. It's insulated on one side and waterproof on the other. Makes a nice little shelter. I've slept in my truck on some different hunts and stuff, and that ended up doing pretty good for me. So for this video's giveaway, I'm gonna give away a pack of these electronic flares. 2 criteria that you need to meet. You need to have the funniest comment in the video, and you need to have 2 friends also comment in the video. And I'm gonna pick whose comment is the funniest. Other than the bag, just covering a couple other things that I also have in the rig is, I didn't cover this in my last video of vehicle everyday carry, what's accessible into my immediate person, but I do keep this full CLS Combat Lifesaver bag right here, right behind my center console. That way I can reach it from my driver's seat if I need to. Under my seat, I have this saw here that I think is super awesome. So this thing, sweet. Reason I added this is during last hunting season, I was up by the border of British Columbia, and I was out on some old logging trails out elk hunting, and I was running into fallen tree after fallen tree after fallen tree. And I had an axe in here. It's not just everyday carry stuff I was having. I was out on a hunting trip, so I had more gear, but I was chopping through numerous trees this big with an axe, and it was frustrating. So this takes up next to no space, and it is super easy to put together. Pretty sweet. And I'll just keep it under my seat. It also came with a spare blade. The reviews on this were really good. Also under the seat, I have a star, means to change my tire, and then a road atlas. I was storing this behind the seat here, but it kept folding over and it was bending, so I'm keeping it under my seat. I highly recommend people carry one of these in their rig, because it's not a matter of if, but when electronics go down. And right here, I have a road atlas to every state, to where I have all the MSRs. If I need it, I have it. Also under here, I have my jack and some other stuff. I'm not gonna pull that out. It's way back up in there and y'all know what a jack looks like. When it comes to storing stuff that's not secured in a bag in your rig, I can't stress enough, have it secured. So this star bar and my jack and stuff, they're back there and they're secured so that way, and then my truck bag is right here pending it in. So in the event of a collision rollover, you're not gonna be getting struck in the face by something heavy. I had a friend in high school, his little sister, she was in a rollover collision and a car battery was in the back seat and it hit her in the face and she nearly died. She had multiple surgeries and it was pretty crazy. And then I see tons of collisions too, like people keeping a license plate in the dash on the front of the window. You get in a collision, man, that can come in and slice you right up. So make sure all your stuff's secure. I also got a little stool right here. And then behind the front seat, got the hunting and fishing regulations. And then I have a pull-less litter right here. What this is, for those of you that may not know, this is a litter. So if we got someone that's a casualty, they can't walk and we need to move them, you can lay someone out on this, a casualty, and it's got handles and you can get a few different people on this thing and you can transport your casualty. Remember, this video is intended to be the more type of roadside emergency kit that you can have in your rig. Please let me know in the comments if you have some other gear, some other items. I was thinking about having some sort of like Sawzall or something in there to cut through laminated glass. I know some of the newer vehicles have laminated glass and you can't just necessarily shatter them. Different types of items that you may think of, please throw them in the comments and I'd really appreciate that. Until next time, thanks again. See you later.